So, how do you create offers that don't burn you out, especially if you're already feeling stretched? If you're a well-being practitioner, you're creating offers, or you are in a season where your energy feels a little bit lower and you're wondering what to launch next, this episode is for you. So maybe you've been teaching classes, group classes, you've been coaching clients one to one, or perhaps you're already running programs. And while you love your work, deep down it's starting to feel a little bit draining. You're showing up, you're quietly resenting the amount of work you're doing, and you're wondering how you can sustain this. Now, you may have heard about courses, membership programs, but how do you choose the one model that works for you right now, for the life you're in, for the season of your life you're in right now, and for your energy levels? So in today's class, this is the fifth class of our 6 episode series. We are going to break down how to build offers that are aligned with you and give you space, income, and are sustainable. So really, it's about building offers that support your energy instead of burning you out. I'm also going to share with you the pros and cons of different models that I have myself tried or I'm still hosting, and what I've learned from doing it all kind of the hard way. I've learned the hard way. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, to my podcast, depending where you're watching or listening to this. I'm Isa-Welly, and I'm a business mentor and digital strategist for well-being entrepreneurs that are ready to turn their wisdom, their skills, their knowledge into an income that supports their lives. If this is your first time here, welcome to this special YouTube series that also will be available on my podcast, where I help you design offers that will sell with ease, without burnout, or without second guessing every step. Now, this is class 5, and we are talking about how do we design and choose and create the right offer model that supports our business through all the seasons of our lives. Now, a little bit before we dive in, I'm going to give you a quick background. I basically spent the last decade before moving into mentoring. My career naturally evolved into business mentoring. But prior to that, I spent 10 years myself in the well-being industry as a practitioner. I still see myself as a practitioner, to be honest with you. I was a Pilates teacher. I have a platform here on YouTube. I have a channel that is almost like 500,000. It's been growing. So I know what it takes to grow a community that feels loved, that feels supported. But I'm also a registered nutritional therapist and a life and well-being coach. And I've supported thousands of students through my paid courses and programs. And I've learned more from the launches, the good ones, the failed ones, the flops, and the successes, more than I've learned from any online courses, business and marketing courses. And some of my offers really flopped really bad, and others just did so well. And I've lived that reality of building a business from, being a teacher that was running in through London, teaching classes and earning £40 a class, to running digital programs that changed my income overnight. It didn't happen overnight, but when you get a big lump sum in a week of launch, you're thinking, whoa, okay, wow. And that really changes your capacity to rest, for me to dream bigger and to be there for what matters, like my family, my friends. So I'm here to show you how that works in a way that feels honest, hopefully doable, and more importantly, aligned with the kind of woman you are. So let's get into it. My philosophy when it comes to building a business, especially for us women, is this: our business should support our lives, not the other way around. We want to build businesses that elevate our lives, that allow us to live and build the life that we really truly want. And that will look different for every one of us. Perhaps you are parents, perhaps you are not. Perhaps you want to just work 4 days a week. Perhaps you want to work all days. It really depends. It doesn't matter. Perhaps you want to be traveling, but you get to build this your way, and you want to build a business that support whatever lifestyle you choose to have, and that also means honoring our feminine energy, our cycle, um, and our overall capacity to give and receive. And that's why I'm so passionate about supporting women and teaching them how to create recurrent revenue through courses, because I really, really think it's one of the easiest and best way to do so, to welcome recurrent revenue, that allow us to be creative, allow us to be in our energy, and to still do what we do, what we love, make impact, support other people's, help them heal, without us ourselves being completely drained. So how do we actually build around that? We start with two things. Number one, we want to stay in alignment, right? Staying in alignment is honoring your energy and capacity. And number two, we want to choose offers that reflect the season of the life we're in. So let's break that down. If you are in a high capacity season, meaning you've got energy and time to show up, you might want to try a membership or a live group training. Now, I've done both of these and they are both incredible. And by the way, throughout the episode, I'm going to share with you different models. There is no one that is better than the other, or you might earn more money. It really depends on where you are right now and what you have the capacity to hold. And that's important to honor that more than anything, because it makes you then show up with excitement, ease, and just release that resentment that you can have sometimes when you're just overwhelmed and you feel stretched. So back to being in a high capacity. So you got loads of energy, got loads of time. You want to consider membership and live group trainings. Now, memberships can be different depending on your modality and how much you decide to share in that membership, something that you will have to be clear about before people enroll into your membership. But these can be really beautiful containers, to support people growth throughout the time, but they do require consistent output. You've got to be super consistent. You can't do a couple of months and then say, oh, I'm tired this month, guys. I can't show up, my daughter is tired, is sick, or my mom or something. Like, do you know what I mean? And these are valid things, but still people have paid you to show up and to receive something every month. So they expect that, and it's their right. Um, in well-being, I think, unless you stick to, for example, you've got a Pilates membership and you are releasing a weekly class, for example, that's great. That is not a lot of output, but still you have to do it. So perhaps you're recording 4 classes a month and then drip them. It really depends. I had a membership called Thrive, my well-being membership for entrepreneurs. I ran it for a full year, and every month I created content. So mine was a little bit of a higher end when it came to membership, because it was £40 or £45 a month. But you had a fitness class, you had a nutrition meal, a plan, sorry. It was a lot in there. Like, now I look back, I'm like, whoa, I really stretched myself. It was a lot. But again, the prices kind of reflected that. And I did a live class every month. So members expected that amount of content every month, and I delivered. But there were months where, especially as a mom of a toddler, I felt really stretched, and that wasn't my only work. I felt really stretched, and I was like, whoa, right, this is a lesson to know and to understand. And I'm so glad I did it, because I learned so much about holding space for people in the long term. But he also told me that that's not my favorite model, and that is not the model that fitted that time of my life, what I was going through on a personal level, and also having a young child. So this is something to think about. Again, it doesn't have to be that way. You might be someone who works with astrology or human design and just need to, put one class out a month or a week, or whatever the model is, but again, it's about designing these so that it fits the lifestyle, sorry, if it's the season of your life right now. And this is something you want to think of before, ahead of time. right? Before you commit. I had committed to a year, so I wanted to finish the year. So high capacity seasons, you got the memberships and you also have live group trainings. Now, I love live group trainings because it is limited in the time. It might be anything between 6 or 12 weeks, something I ran a few times with my Pilates program that I used to have, and I still have it actually. Beginners Pilates program. It was a 6 week. Yeah, it was 6 weeks. And I started it with a challenge to bring people into my world. I did the whole funnel, really bringing people in. It was 100, I think when I started it, it was 139 pounds. And all the classes were pre-recorded, but I did a live every week, a live class where I asked them question. Was that every week or every other week? I can't really remember, my apologies, but there was a live thing in there. Now that's again a slightly different model where everything didn't rely on me. And I love that model because I had recorded the classes, really did them beautifully, launched it, and I was just there to support them. They had access to me through the Facebook group every day. And that again was beautiful. And I love that model because you show up, you're there, it's immersive, you get to connect with your people, with your community, and you get to tweak. If you are creating the content as you go, the classes, you get to tweak that as you go. And I think that's amazing. Like that's really, really good because the offer can be really powerful. In my case, in Pilates, I think it's a little bit harder and I wanted to have something like done and ready to go. It just felt safer in a way, and I loved it and it works for me. And that again is because I had been teaching for years. I knew who the I was creating it for. I was so clear. Plug in Clear Client Framework. If you don't know what that is, I'll share that with you in a bit. But I was so clear about who my client it was that I knew that my offer would land well anyway, right? So I didn't need to wait and tweak and do that. So that's another model. If you're in a high season, you got loads of energy, you got 6 to 12 weeks and you go for it. I really love that model. It's a really good one. Now, let's talk about what the Clear Client Framework is before I talk about the other models. The Clear Client Framework is a framework I developed to help you get super crystal clear on what you offer is going to do, who it is for, what problem it is solving, and how you can integrate all of these into the offer so that it sells with ease. So that is the foundation when you're creating anything, right? Anything. It's not about niching, but it's about understanding, okay, I'm going to create a membership or a 12-week life program or a masterclass. Who is this for? What are they struggling with? Okay, let me solve that. Let me create the program so that it is the solution to their problem. That is really important to understand. So I have created a framework that I've simplified to really help you get that in within an hour. It's an hour class with journal prompts, and it will really, really help you get that. And eventually design an offer that will sell itself. So it's £27 and the link will be in the show notes or in the show description. Okay, next up, if you are in a lower season, maybe you are, you're going through personal things, you're healing, you're unwell, whether that's physical or mental, you are moving slower, you're in the first 2-3 years maybe of motherhood, or you have parents that are unwell and you want to be there for them. And again, I'm giving you those examples because these are things I have been through or I'm going through. And I know how it feels, especially thinking about that first year of motherhood when I got back to work, and I was so grateful I had my Pilates offers just working for me in the background, because I just didn't have the space to be there. Like I was exhausted, right? But I also was going through matrescence, becoming a mother, and what it could be like, what a huge shift. You have to grieve your old self, and that is something personal to everybody. Some women, they give birth and they fly through it, and mine, I flow through it, but there was a lot of uncovering of, okay, who am I becoming? Wounds that coming, mother wounds that coming, reviewing my relationship with my parents, like healing from things I never dealt with. Like, so I had a really intense 2 years, first 2 years, and there was no way I was going to do like like high input things, and again, I was so grateful I had my programs working for me. So if that's a season you're in right now, and again, it doesn't have to be mothering, it can be anything, you just know you don't have the energy to show up at a certain level, but you still want to make impact and make income, you get to design something that honor that season of your life. And again, there's no right, there's no wrong. Don't judge yourself through this. And you don't necessarily earn less because you're choosing a different model. As long as your offer is of high quality to the audience that needs it. You design an offer, you have to make sure that in your audience, if you have a broad audience, there's a group in there that needs that offers, and there is a system in place that make them go to the offer and buy it without you having to be in all the time. That is important. And the systems are just as simple as creating a good funnel. So in that, in a low season, you want to think about how you can design your offers to be in evergreen, right? Perhaps evergreen means people can just buy them without you having to have an input. Perhaps you're just creating content regularly to support them. Again, that's part of your funnel. But you don't do necessarily lives or memberships or things like that. And I want to share with you a quick story that literally happened 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, up till middle of last week, actually. My daughter was really unwell, and she hasn't been for a while. She's going to be 3 now at times of recording. She's going to be 3 at the end of the month. We are in August 2025. And she's a pretty touch wood. She's a healthy baby, and she just had this fever. She wouldn't shift it. And usually when she has that, it was teething. This time I was like, I can't see any tooth. I don't know what's happening. Eventually, I think it was a chest infection. But what that meant is she was home for a week. She was home for a week, had to cancel everything. I just had a couple of clients, so I could do 1 or 2 of my calls. And that was it, really. But if I'm honest with you, years ago, I couldn't have done this. When I was teaching my Pilates classes in London studios, I mean, I could have done it. I would have had to do it, but I couldn't have done it without losing money. Where this time, I didn't lose money if I take a week off work. My clients in general, I can, reschedule a couple of classes, a couple of one-to-one. I don't have more than 4 one-to-ones a week ever. And that's it. I could do that because I have programs behind the scenes working for me. But it just felt so safe and so good to be able to be with my daughter without worrying, without thinking, fuck, I'm losing X amount of money. I'm going to have to hustle to find more classes next week. Or, that feeling of stress and anxiety where you already are so stressed and so anxious about your child being unwell. And I felt so grateful to be able to be there for her. And this is one of the reasons why I do my business the way I do it. This is why I build this model that sustained me. In my early years as a practitioner, when I was a nutritionist, I started charging £85 a session. And then eventually I moved to £150 per session within a package. Nutrition is intense, I think a lot of people think I'm just going to tell you what to eat and that's it. But I'll go away and work to create a protocol, including supplements and lifestyle. And that can take 2 to 3 hours because there's research. We don't just give anything to people. We'll read through their testing. It's a lot of work. So charging £150 is not just for the session. It includes the 3 hours or 4 hours research sometimes you have to do per client to think about it. All of a sudden you're earning 30, 40 pounds an hour. And that's the reality of it. And at some point, it just didn't become sustainable. Same when I was teaching £40 classes and earning £40 an hour and having to run across London and teach a hell of a lot to make a decent amount of money. And it just wasn't sustainable. I didn't have the space and energy anymore. That's when I worked with my first one-to-one coach. And we created an offer that brought all my skills together as a practitioner, but also as a human, and that's what I started. I created my high ticket coaching that was Pilates, nutrition, and coaching. But I was really focusing also on mindset, the purpose, the movement. And what I did is I supported women that needed to heal from deep, deep burnout, and I helped them rebuild a lifestyle that actually honored them. I loved that. I loved it so much. And I done that for a couple of years. That was just before I got pregnant, actually. And the offer was £3,000 for 3 months. It was about £1,000, and it was weekly sessions plus some support, access to my courses and programs I already had. So again, that shows you how you can create an ecosystem. Your business become an ecosystem. You never build something and then that's it. You can bring it back as a bonus, as a extra something for, your next offer. So that doing that allowed me obviously to earn more, to be less resentful because I was just working and felt like I would never was earning enough actually, but it allowed me to earn more. My energy was really focused. But what it also did, and that is was important for me, was to create space. I finally had more space because I didn't work with as many people. Uh, in a one-to-one, I had more space to now create low-cost offers that supported a lot of members of my community that couldn't necessarily afford even the £150 sessions. So I managed to create loads of offers between £40 and £150, self-studies, Pilates, nutrition, and that started creating a lot of impact and more income for me as well. And there were ways of doing it. I remember still taking one or two clients at lower cost in my high ticket program that I wanted, women that I knew that needed that I also wanted to support. And again, being able to offer some low cost sessions, still honoring my time, you will have to have the high offer touch, the high offer as well within your ecosystem. So that's the beauty. Your business starts supporting you and you get to design that. You get to figure that out. It takes a little time, a little juggle, and it takes that you adapt it as you go through, as you go through life, as you grow through life. But again, what I want you to remember is you get to choose, you get to decide how it is, how it gets to be. Once you create a course or a program, whether it's live or self-study, it becomes part of your business patrimoine. It's your patrimoine, it's a long-term asset. You're building these assets. And as I just mentioned, you get to use them. All my programs, I don't have all of them on sales. I only have two, maybe three, on sales right now, but I know I can pull them up into a membership now, like my practitioner things, and offer it into a membership, if I feel like doing that. So it's not a waste of time. Just make sure you're designing offers that are easy to sell because they are really targeted to someone. They are super clear on the transformation and they know that the offer is clear in terms of what problem it's solving. Okay. Now, one thing that is important is the community. For you to be able to do all of this, you've got to be building a community with consistency. And that is not on social media, right? You build a community, you show up consistently, and that you bring that community onto your mailing list. That's where your people are, then that's where you get to sell. Offer things that get them, build a nice lead magnet that brings them into your mailing list and nurture them there. Your people are real people. They're just not people. They're just not numbers or followers or blah, blah, blah. They're real humans. Speak to them within your emails, reach out to them, ask a question, connect. And I promise you, this goes a long way. Honestly, this goes a long way. I never used ads in my previous business as a Pilates teacher or nutritional therapist, but I connected with people. I showed up consistently on YouTube, especially on this platform. I built connections with brands. All of that supported my business and it's still supporting me earning money through my well-being products, even though I don't share content in the well-being anymore, right? So that's really important. Your community is the core of your business. Really, it is the backbone of your business. Now, you've got a digital starter kit. If you're thinking, okay, what model would work for me? I have the digital starter kit that I created. It is only £9, but it shows you so many different business models that you could use, how much you could earn from each, depending on your size or the size of your audience, and what will fit best your energy. And I have that I've set them up I've categorized them, from beginners, intermediate to more advanced, really depending where you are in your business. And again, that will be in the show notes. If you are in a place where you're thinking, okay, I do want to do all of this, I am ready to dive in. You already perhaps have your website, you're showing up online, but you're not seeing any shift. And you know that what will really take you to the next level is tailored support, is one-to-one. You're ready to make money and impact. In addition to what you're already making, you want to create that space, that freedom. You want to be able to be there, whether it's for your parents, for your kids, or for yourself, right? I have 2 spaces, one-to-one spaces are opening for this month in August. So please drop me an email, admin@Isa-Welly.com. And this is for you who wants to create a business that honors your energy, gives you time, freedom, and support you financially and space-wise as well. If you're watching this in the future, way after August 25, you email me anyway, because I'll let you know when I have the next spots opening up. If your soul is whispering, yeah, this is it, don't wait. Your time is now. Take action. The right time is now, is when you feel it. It's when your heart, your soul is saying, yeah, I need to do this. I need to do this. I'm ready for it. Again, email me, admin@Isa-Welly.com, and I will help you build a business that brings you income, but also supports you, your energy levels in this season of your life. Thank you so much. This was the episode 5 of our special YouTube series, and I will see you in the next episode.